Welcome. We are live. How about that? How about that Dream Breaker? We're going to definitely talk about that. Um, I see we've got Gabriella Bloom in chat. Perfect timing. I agree. I actually don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see how many viewers. We got to 20 viewers last time. So um, basically, what we're going to be doing here is just talking about everything that we've seen the last couple of days of the MLP playoffs. Yeah, they're here before me. Of course they are. So didn't have a host, and I did this last week on Wednesday with Chris Callie. It was a ton of fun, just chatting pickleball. But the first 20 minutes he joined late was a little rough. It's a lot of dead air to fill. So I kind of put out the bat signal, and fortunately, there are a few nerds on Twitter that were willing to jump in. So we're gonna bring them in. We're gonna talk some pickleball. So we've got Chris Ross, who's one half of NML. We'll be excited to have you on, and then we've got Alex Lance, who is what is your title with the kitchen? You're the director of content, is that right?
Director of content. Yep.
Very cool. So yeah, we'll definitely, we got Alex in the kitchen. They love their hot takes lately, so maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some of that going. But yeah, just to start off, we've got Ernie King, which is a great name by the way in the chat. What a dream breaker! I mean,
Tyler Loom.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. What did you guys make of that? Like, we have to kind of also address how badly did Dallas overthink this one? Like,
yeah, I don't. It's totally unnecessary. What are they? I don't know what their thought process was. I know, Maddie, me and you were talking yesterday. Dallas played New York in the playoffs last year, which had Leia and CJ.
And maybe Chris can elaborate on that as he was the GM of that team at the
time. Yeah. So maybe there's some thought there, like, hey, we've played these guys before and beaten them in high pressure situations. But it just seems kind of like an own goal. Like, Texas is sitting right there. Texas, they did not look great against Miami in the play-in match, and that just seemed. I almost thought St. Louis was going to pick Texas because just how bad they looked. Not bad, but like didn't look great. Certainly, Matty, you're a Texas guy, but
I mean, I can't argue with anything you said. I mean, they've had some weird vibes. We've seen some more of that too. Chris, what do you think of the selection of Dallas choosing Columbus, and then we can also then get into that Dream Breaker?
I mean, I think the Dream Breaker is exactly why you don't pick them. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they've got the men's team that is better than your men's team on paper. And so you just need 2 wins to get to a Dream Breaker where they are favored with their 2 really good women in the singles. So it's just kind of odd because I think last year that probably played a part. We were probably the team that they should have picked anyway, but I think they knew we had some internal stuff going on. And I think that's the same with Columbus, it sounds like. But I mean, Texas also has the internal stuff going on. I think it seems like Ryan DeWidgeon has been benched or something like that. And so it's if you're going to pick based on that, it doesn't seem like that. Like, it seems like it's equal at most. And then you've got a situation with Texas where they're just not playing that well. So as Alex said, like it doesn't make a ton of sense. Andrea Krupp, actually, she was on Twitter because I know Mark Molthan said they had a team dinner and the players, all decided this. I think there is a certain aspect, like, player empowerment's great, but sometimes the players just don't know best and they have a feeling they want to go with, and then you're in a place where you're playing a better team, and now you're facing a game 3, which they did face last year as well. So it's a weird choice
for sure.
Go ahead, Manny.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, you talk about player empowerment. I think, like, if you think back when we used to have the full redraft every year, it was always like, do you let your first player you draft have how much say do they get? So how much say should you be giving players in this? The way I got there with like what Dallas's logic has to have been is the game flow that we saw today, where you feel whether you pick Texas, whether you pick Columbus, probably going to be 1-1 in heading into mixed doubles, with the women winning, the men losing. I think the Texas men were 2-0 against Dallas in the regular season. So you're probably picking, because remember, you also have the advantage of setting the mixed matchups. You just want to give Augie and Tyra the best chance to win, and then send out your closers. And that's what happened today. They sent out their closers, and they damn near got pickled. So, I mean, it's just, that has to have been the logic, I would guess, of also maybe, the internal stuff, whatever's going on. But yeah, I think I like your term, Alex. Now that I think they've opened themselves up to a lot of criticism if things don't go well tomorrow. And I think own goal is kind of a funny comparison.
Yeah, I think we have to talk about too. J-Dub and Augie have been struggling lately. I think I put out a tweet that they were 5-8 over the last month. And then J-Dub and Georgia, like toward the end of the season, were having to make these sort of miraculous comebacks to win in mixed, and now they've gotten beat 2 days in a row in mixed. And so it just seems like Dallas just hasn't for the last month been playing their best ball of the season, which even makes the pick even more strange. Like I don't get it at all.
Well, I guess the one thing to counter the point is that they have had their closers. You said, Maddie, in the last 2 matches, they've had their best team. The thing is, Paris and Andre are a pretty good teams, so it makes it tough for them. But to expect them you wouldn't expect them to go 0-2. So that also is surprising. And so if all holds true, other than that JW Georgia matchup tomorrow, they should win in regulation. But anything can happen in these games.
Yeah, I mean, also, I just want to give a shout out to whatever led to this match being delayed for the perfect lead into this. We've got 15 viewers here. So, if you're here after that, had a little bit to unwind. It's kind of fun to just talk about it right after. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw my screen share up. I've got a few kind of talking points we can get to, and that'll just kind of help guide the conversation. But we also want to be reacting to you guys in chat if you have questions. And if you're joining late too, just to reintroduce my guest, we have Chris Ross, from NML. He's one half of that if you read their blogs. You guys have been doing live blog updates too. And then we've also got Alex Lance, who is content director for The Kitchen. And as you can see, he's feeling pretty good today. He's got his Nashville Chef's hat on, so he's riding pretty high. So I'm going to throw
me a homer. That's fine.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I wear my biases on my sleeve. I've never pretended to not be a Texas fan. I made my commentary debut calling a Dallas Flash match in MLP Austin, and the night before I literally booed them when they came out and they did the whole announcements thing. So I mean, I can't make fun of anybody for being a homer. So here are some stuff and things we can talk about. We got MLP round 1. We kind of already talked about the matchup selections a little bit. We'll talk about some round 2 results, and also do consider liking, subscribing. Also, if you want to become a Basil buddy, Basil, of course, is my dog, for $1 a month. You can get access to a My Pickleball Life Basil the Dog edition and some other perks and stuff. So if you're into that sort of thing, consider doing that. But let me just move along here. Going kind of back to what we saw in round 1 with Texas defeating Miami in a dream breaker, and it's since come out with we kind of talked about it, like the weirdness for Texas. Like, do any of y'all have the scoop there? I haven't really reached out to Ryan. I was kind of just, letting them do their thing when they're at the tournaments. I don't like to bug them too much, but I'm curious if you guys have heard anything. We've all seen the speculation. I think the way pickleball.com in their Instagram post was framing it almost made it seem like Alshon played like the Uno reverse card. Like, you benched me. No, I'm benching you. And the way that they had that video too, it really reminded me of like Strangers on a Train. If you've seen that old Hitchcock movie where everybody in the crowd is watching a tennis match like that, and then there's just the guy sitting there staring. It was just kind of funny, like the whole thing around that. So do you guys have just thoughts on this? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we've gotten a little bit of stuff that it sounds like he was like essentially benched, and that ownership has chosen Alshon over him. Because I don't know if this is fully confirmed. This is the danger of coming on live, but I understood that Alshon got benched. Not clear why after Dallas, and then I don't know what led to it. But then I think DeWiggin was not allowed to attend practice the day before they played their first playoff match, and then there he was in the stands, which was also just like it. I think it's like all around a weird thing. I don't know why he would come there, like why they would have him there if he's not going to be at practice and not going to be on the sideline. And then I don't know why I sure wouldn't want to be on the sideline in that case, kind of like stoically watching the match. But that's pretty much what we've got on it. I hesitate a little because it's not 100%, but that's what I've heard.
I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot and make them say anything they're gonna have to reel back later. It did definitely
already had the flight booked. Had to go.
Yeah, I mean, San Diego. We saw the weather; it looked nice this year, so you might as well. Yeah. But that first match too, and I can actually, if somebody wants to maybe just kind of start vamping, I don't know, so I could just switch over my screen share to the stats from that first match. I'm going to do that. So Alex or Chris, if you want to talk about Texas versus Miami real quick while I do a little switcheroo on my screen share.
Yeah, sure. So Texas women's duo has been playing pretty well. Caitlin Christian and Tina Piznik won that first match first game 11-0. Caitlin Christian also won mixed with Alshon. So it seems like she has been playing pretty well, but it's actually been kind of the men who have been maybe not playing their best lately. Let me pull up that. So that was sort of my takeaway from that match was like Caitlin Christian, A, won both of her doubles matches, and then B, also played well in that Dream Breaker, which is why they got her in the first place. So it seemed to me that that bet kind of paid off, at least in that match. But yeah, the men lost to Yuta and Jay 11-8. So that's certainly not what you would expect from Christian Alshon and Eric Onsens. And
going back to that women's doubles, the pickle we saw 11-0. We can't really talk about that because the stream was down for the first game of the first match of the playoffs, which was a little bummer. You know, it made me feel like it was back in I feel like that was more common in like 2022 or 2023. Even last year, I feel like they didn't even stream all the games.
Grandstand too, though, for a first playoff matchup in Premier. That was weird.
Yeah, I think it's just like the timing of like getting these two matches out of the way and then having to like pick the matchups. And it was, probably would like to see them all in Premier, but yeah. So here's real quick the real clear stats from this first game, which we did see. I believe this was actually back in Miami. We saw this matchup, of course, with Wyatt Stone instead of Christian Alshon. So not too much to kind of take away in terms of like comparing these. But the stats I always like to look at, and let me know, guys in chat, like if you see anything that you don't understand or if you can't see, if I need to zoom in more. But like the first thing that I always look at, and I think we've kind of seen this too in the game against the New Jersey Fives today, is I don't think Eric Onsens is playing his best ball right now. I look here at this shot accuracy. So this is in men's doubles against Miami. We can see 96 touches. So he did take the majority of the touches compared to Alshon, but 13 total errors. Anything in the 80s in terms of accuracy is usually pretty low as far as like what you can expect to see in a MLP pickleball game. One thing we can see here is our rally and impact flow, where this is kind of just tracking like you get +1 if you're hitting a clean winner, -1 if you're hitting an unforced error, and then you get plus a little bit for forcing an error and minus a little bit if you're forced to commit an error. So this is always just kind of fun to see like who played well at like certain points in the game. So like you can see we're getting off to a pretty big deficit for Texas here, and you can kind of see Eric Onsens probably racking up a lot of errors in this stage of the game, and he did turn on a little bit, but that kind of seemed to be the story of that game. So yeah, I think that's something that we saw again today was just Eric Onsens not on his best ball maybe lately, and then Dream Breaker got a little dicey. Like it was. We can see the game flow here. Texas had a lead, and then like the freeze was kind of coming into play a little bit. It was definitely starting to feel a little pressure there. But Texas ended up getting the win and advancing. But I was sweating it a little bit. I
wonder on the Onsens point, like you see this happen in like baseball a lot, where a guy will come out and he'll bat like 450 his first month in the majors, something like that, or like get on a real, and then it starts to plateau. It's almost like teams kind of start to figure out like, okay, here's where you need to pitch this guy. Here's what we need to throw him. And I wonder if that has happened a little bit with Onsens, where like earlier this year, he was pretty new on the scene. He played Challenger last year, but like he started having very good results first part of the year, even made a pretty deep run in a PPA. A couple PPAs, and then I wonder if the book is kind of out on him, or what teams need to do to be able to go to neutralize him a little bit better. Well, I don't know specifically like what that is, but I wonder if that's what's happening.
I think it's a really good point that you make, Alex, and I think like if we remember, I'm just going back in my head, but the early matches, they were what Ryan DeWidgeon would describe as crash and dash. Like it was crash and dash, big serves, just kind of overpowering teams. And I think, teams might have gotten used to that. And I don't think that play level at the very highest level still, we've written about this quite a bit this year, but at the highest levels of men's doubles pickleball, you can't just crash and bash your way to wins. Like Blaine and Ryan, you get some wins here and there, but it's not going to be sustainable. I think the other tough thing for Onsens is that playing with Alshon, like, he's supposed to win, but he's got to be the alpha, but then Alshon's the better player. It might be a weird dynamic for him too. And then things kind of go off a bit. It's a bit tricky to be that alpha when you're not the alpha of the partnership.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you draft somebody and you're like, hey, we're counting on you to go out there and just like be the guy and win games, then, oh, by the way, we're going to put you on the right. Like it's kind of a tough situation. A lot of pressure there. So again, like maybe that's the reason why you should have maybe considered picking Texas if you're Dallas. And we've got the Pickleball Jones. Do we know why Dallas chose Columbus? We really don't. We talked about this a little bit in the intro, but maybe we'll get back into it a little bit later. I think we were all a little bit surprised by that. I haven't seen anybody come out and outright say like, oh yeah, this is why they do it. Kind of moving on to the next match. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about from this Utah versus Orlando game? I mean, Grayson Golden, he was certainly a lot of fun to watch. I think, especially what we saw today from him, like feels like a premier level starter maybe for 2026 team. That was kind of my biggest takeaway. And also we saw this matchup, like literally the exact same matchup in Salt Lake City 2 weeks ago. And it was an Orlando squeeze 0-4 loss. And then they completely flip it around here and win. So it's definitely interesting to see that. You wonder if they were playing a little close to their chest in that. And then they kind of just brought their A game. So those were kind of my takeaways from this first round match. I don't really know if anybody else has anything they want to add there.
I think the only thing that I'd add just on the Golden thing is that in this matchup, Grayson was just going, like in the men's, he was going every ball he got on his forehand. I would worry a little bit about him. He's got that just it's balls to the wall kind of style, right? And how well does that sustain over a period of time, especially against better competition? I think his backhand. I got to watch him a little more. That backhand on the air might still need quite a bit of work as well. So he may very well be a premier level starter, this time of the draft next year, but it is one of those maybe like, I don't think he's nearly the player that Onsens was last year in Challenger in terms of the pure pickleball skills. Love the conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, here's just the men's doubles from that first round game. And I mean, Grayson Golden absolutely came out and just kind of crushed it. It was just by this player impact plus a rally and impact flow metric. Another thing too is always fun to see like who's hitting winners or forcing errors. And
how many speed ups did Grayson have here?
Yeah, let's take a look. Speed ups. So look how good he was on these speed ups. It's done by percentages. So let's 9 speed ups. They won 7 of them, lost 1, and 1 of them was reset. That is very good. So yeah, kind of crushed it there. That was a really good question to ask. So I could show a cool stat. This is also one of the other stats when I do like the broadcast, looking at speed ups, firefight initiations, and then that accuracy is kind of like just the real bare bones of like what I always like to share. I feel like it tells a good story. But yeah, Grayson Golden, a lot of fun to watch, like energy wise too. He's
a fun guy. He's a fun guy. He's got to be a fun guy to have on your team too.
For Utah, not to change the subject. We'll get back to Grayson when we talk about today's match, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But for Utah, like tough for them. Like they made a big trade to get Edda, and I think that did make them better, and gave them sort of more of a shot. But kind of just disappointing, probably for them to try to make a play like that, and then it didn't really get them anything in the end. At least not this year.
Mm-hmm.
Can they keep her next year? I'm not sure.
It's so confusing. I want to do a whole like
big
deep dive on the keeper thing. I know I've talked to Tice about this too. I think it'd be fun to do like almost like run through the teams or even get some people together maybe and do like a little mock off season. Like I could like assign like NML. Hey, you guys are the fake GMs of this team. Like who are you going to drop? I think that'd be kind of like a fun little project, but it also sounds like a lot of work. But also, I'm not against taking on fun little projects that are a lot of work, as we've seen with the Maddie Pickles Pick'em Invitational, where I've just been like spending an hour updating a graphic that nobody cares about, like twice.
I cared deeply.
I live and die with that chart.
Oh man, yeah.
I want to say one thing on this other match, this Utah match too. I think Connor played about as poorly as I've seen him play this year. Like Grayson was going at him, and he couldn't. His forehand counter was just. He's had trouble with that in the past, but it's gotten better, and it looked broken just for the match. You know, 1 game to 11, it's tough, but I don't think that helped them at all.
Yeah, we can see here firefight counters. Both Loong and Garnett struggled a bit, but looks like Garnett struggled a little bit more. Why Jake wants to know why he hasn't been invited to the Maddie Pickles Pick'em Invitational. Well, it's because I wanted you to. I just need one more reason for you to fight me. You know, I hadn't been threatened with enough violence, so I needed one more fight in my life. So that's why. Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, first round, we got one Dream Breaker, and then we also had. We'll talk maybe a little bit Challenger towards the end too. I don't want to be disrespectful, especially since we have a guy wearing a chef's hat on here towards Challenger League. But I'm probably just going to focus a little bit more on Premier, and we'll get into a little bit of Challenger later. But kind of moving on, like we talked about the Dallas selection, and I think I saw someone in chat here saying they took a team vote. I also heard that. I heard they took a team vote. I don't know how it broke down exactly, but I think it was like 4-2 that they picked Columbus in the end. So, I mean, again, we talked about it, like how much say should a player have, you know? Yeah.
I joked that maybe the other team they were debating on was LA. They want to play the Mad Drops.
You'd have to really, really over like galaxy brain, like to overthink to get to that. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So let's I'm gonna try to switch out my screen share again real quick. Actually, I don't know. I'm really bad at this if you guys didn't know. Let's talk, great. I guess, real quick about just the other selections. Like St. Louis picks Orlando. There's really nothing to say there. Is there anything else to really talk about? Everything else went pretty much as expected. Like
right? Hayden. You got to talk about Hayden, right?
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. I mean, Hayden, it is still funny that you see the yelling and the screaming still. I actually can't understand why these players get so bothered by the yelling and the screaming. It happens all the time. Like just ignore it. I don't get it.
Yeah, that was definitely made that match fun to watch. The kind of dynamics between.
I forgot I had the kitchen here. I forgot that was not actually intended, but I actually
I had Anna Bright on like right after that whole kind of discourse really popped off. Just like randomly happened to agree to like have her on, and the fact that it was like right when that was going on, I was like, I mean, talk about good timing too for getting a little boost of views.
What I would say about that is, and we don't need to relitigate the whole thing, but what I would say is like, you can do whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that people have to like it. Like, sort of my takeaway. Like, if you want to jump up and down and scream, that's fine, but not everybody's going to like that. So you also have to be cool with that too.
Yeah, like 100%. If you're going to do that, you have to expect that people just aren't going to like it. I think we need to get an NML kitchen matchup because I think Jared might completely hate Jared and I if we ever got that and got to see us hoot and hollering on the after points.
That'd be pretty funny. Just screaming, just turn to the bench so going back to, I guess, what were the matches we saw last night? We had St. Louis beating Orlando. There was the big comeback. We can take a look at the stats from that. And then the other one was the first Dallas Dreambreaker against Columbus, right? It's like with the playoffs, there's like so many good games. Like it's hard to like remember like what actually happened when, you know, even though it's only been like 2 days. It's been a lot to like keep on top of. So I'm going to pull up the stats from that mixed game. And was there anything like that jumped out to you during that game that like changed that like you think was the reason that Gabe and Kate were able to turn it around? Was it just like pure energy and getting tight, or like what?
I think it just is, you know, the level, you know, it's just their level wasn't there and their level raised. And it's tough to keep that level going, especially when you have to finish and you're looking at it 10-3 going, they just need a couple to get it back on track because Gabe and Kate are the better team, I think, in that matchup. So I think it's just hard to sustain it for an entire game to 11. And I think that's probably more what it comes down to. I think Gabe got a little more aggressive too.
Yeah, we got the game flow here. I mean, I always love these charts too. Just really, really simple way to view it. When you just get plateaued there at 10, it's just like you can just feel like even when I was watching Texas today, like, oh my gosh, that was our chance. Like we had to take advantage of that one. Yeah.
I think you kind of saw the same thing today from Orlando's women in that women's match or that women's game where they got up big and then St. Louis just kind of started to chip away, and you could just see Orlando getting tight and that's Millie, who also lost or was in that sort of mixed situation where St. Louis was coming back. Now the women ended up winning today, but I think it was kind of the same thing starting to happen that happened a day earlier in that mixed game where it just kind of get tight and you're not really supposed to win that game or that you're underdogs, and so when you see the team coming back, it just makes it stressful.
Yeah, when like you feel the pressure of like the match flow of like, okay, it's like you need this one and you're there. Yeah, I mean, quick little look at the little rally and impact flow. Gabe Tardio absolutely turned it on here down the stretch. Another thing that's kind of fun is like this is probably going to look terrible on stream. Maybe I can zoom out even for this one, but like it's really cool. You can just like see each rally, like how it ended is kind of logged here in terms of like who's getting, hitting forcing errors. If it's kind of lighter green, and if it's kind of lighter pink, it's like who has the error forcing them. So like you can see Gabe Tardio just absolutely turned it on here and started just making his presence felt. We can see whether he was, starting a few firefights too. That's what these little icons are. But yeah, I don't really want to, I don't know. It's like, I don't know the best way to share this info. I've never really done it like this before. So if there are anyone in chat, you see anything you want me to kind of dive into, or either of you guys too, I'm happy to pull those up. But yeah.
Well, I thought that thing was interesting because I think you had, I think I saw on the side, you had the kitchen arrivals and no kitchen arrival. I think
that's always a good one too.
I mean, that's a big one. And I think they might've mentioned it in the post-game interview that you just weren't getting to the line. And I think sometimes it also just a matter of, are you getting the line? And it seemed like based on that chart that they're getting to the line towards the end of the game. Every point they're getting to the line, right? If they're winning the point or ending it before they get to the line, which I think that still might be the most important stat in pickleball is just like, are you getting to the kitchen? And if you are, you're probably doing well.
That's the Diescu way. Guy just gets to the line every point. It's crazy
for sure. Then the other game last night, so like Dallas, like 2 dream breakers. Like you could have gotten that if you picked Texas. It's just in terms of like how those matches would go with men's kind of being. It's basically just kind of coming down to like the men's doubles lineup just is not the same as it was last year for whatever reason. Like I saw somebody tweet like this match is like who can like disguise their one like kind of weak spot in the lineup a little bit better. And like, I love the guy, but like it kind of feels like it's been Augie in specifically in men's doubles. Like him and Tyra have still been really good, but with J-Dub, like that should be better. And that's why they're not the 1 seed, that's why they feel kind of beatable.
Yeah, I think the thing with Augie is that his game just hasn't progressed that much since last year. He's just solid, but he hasn't. I think you almost can look at him and CJ and where the progression has come, but you look at how dynamic CJ is in terms of the different shots he has, and I do one other thought that came to my mind as we're talking here is I think Dallas. I don't remember which match it was, but earlier in the year, I think Augie was kind of eating up Andre in one match with it might have been Beer City. With his off the bounce stuff, and that's his main attack off the forehand. He attacks off the bounce, and he kind of goes in the body or down that backhand side down the line. And Andre was having trouble with it, but he's just eaten that up this matchup, and I think he's made the adjustment. And he's just not that dynamic overall. He's just kind of steady, and again at the highest levels, I think it gives him trouble. And I think like they kind of had him just in like a torture dink chamber. I thought in the second match today.
Yeah, so I was looking at it. Augie and J-Dub last year were 25-10, 71% winning percentage. This season in the regular season, they were 16-13. That's 55%. And in the last 13 matches, they're 5-8. So not trending the right way.
And you should, all things equal, like you should have a better record this year, given that there's more teams that are kind of, down at the bottom and there's more players. So it's like if your record got better, that might explain a lot of why it got better. Like you might not actually be playing that much better. You might just not be playing against better teams. But if your record got worse, like I think that's like when you can maybe start to be like a little concerned about just, how it's working. That's kind of
even if they get by Columbus tomorrow, like they're probably gonna play LA, right? So it's like I just think that's going to be a problem going forward, even if they get through this round.
Yeah, and I think Chris, you said Augie's like super steady. Like every time I look at one of these men's doubles charts, he always ends up hitting like 55 to like 65% of all the balls. Teams just like to put it on his backhand or J-Dub's backhand, But here, like, is a stat, we talk about like rally wins. So it's just basically you're forcing there, you're hitting a clean winner. And like Augie had, so many touches, but only 2 rally wins. So like you can kind of see Diascu is just generating so much offense. J.W. Johnson, so much offense. And Augie, and to his extent, CJ, not quite the same. This is the match, too, from last night, by the way. But yeah,
what were the touches between them?
Yeah, let me 103 for each of Klinger and Guh. I've seen this as high as like 65% for a game with Augie.
I bet you it was today because CJ was staying in those cross court.
Yeah, let's talk about the matches
day.
today. I mean, that one's still kind of fresh, so I think that's the one too. Everyone just came from watching. Let's dive into that one. I was trying to juggle bedtime during a good portion of that, so I wasn't able to watch as much as I wanted. But and then during the Dream Breaker, I was scrambling to set up my computer and everything. So I'll let one of you guys jump in, and then I'll get the stats for that pulled up, and we'll see. I'll see if I can get that the split for men's doubles there going right off the bat.
I think what's also interesting is the women of Columbus beat Dallas in your city, I believe, and they've just been tuned up by Georgia and Tyra 11-2. I think both games, and it hasn't even really been close. I mean, if they can turn that around, that could put Dallas in a really bad spot. Paris and Leia can figure something out because it seems like they should be able to do better than 11-2 in 2 straight games, especially giving them so much trouble in Beer City.
Yeah, and only 27 rallies. Like they just never even like had a chance to like try to get anything going. Just yeah.
Yeah, Leia's I think has underperformed in the doubles. She was great in the Dream Breaker today, but like is 0-4 in doubles. So if she can get one win tomorrow, I mean that gives Columbus an edge over what they've done so far. So it's like, and I have to think that I have to think she's going to play better tomorrow than she has so far. Like she's played below her sort of normal level, I think, in this series. So
I think in women's for sure. I think the mixed look better today. I think they
better for sure.
It's tough for them, and Tyra just gets so many balls back, and CJ love him to death, but he just doesn't have the elite power that some of the men have.
He looked like he was struggling in the sun too a little bit, like towards the end of that one, and that one really long rally, like that would look kind of brutal shadows there in some of those putaways.
Yeah, that matchup's just really tough with Tyra there to put balls away. It's tough for anyone, but if you don't have the really elite power, it makes it even tougher. And so that's just a hard spot for. But I think if there's anyone also I would trust to make an adjustment like day to day, they clearly got better from yesterday to today. They got better, and I think they'll get better tomorrow. Like CJ and Darren make adjustments as well as anyone probably in pickleball. I don't know if people realize how smart Darren Klinger is about pickleball. So I would expect them to make another adjustment of some kind.
And
they get in those. CJ and Leia get in sort of a tough spot when CJ's coming over to take almost everything, and then sometimes he just doesn't. Like he'll come over and take every ball, and then there will be one kind of high in the middle, and he just won't take it. And then Leia is sitting there like, "Oh shit!" or "Oh crap." Sorry, I don't know if are we allowed to swear on this?
I don't care.
So that was kind of what happened on game point there today. Is Leia's expecting CJ to come over to take a ball kind of on her side of the court because that's what he's been doing, and then he just doesn't sometimes for whatever reason. I don't know.
Well, I think a problem with that partnership is that Leia's been. It seems like towards the end of the year or this, like she's not running around that forehand so much. And I think that really gets him into problems when she gets a little tight. She backs off the line a bit, and then is taking less court. And then CJ's taking too much court probably. And it kind of like is this, well, Leia's not taking the court, so CJ takes more court, but it's probably too much. And then, I'm taking too much court, so I leave the ball. So I think they get into that kind of back and forth, which is just tough from like the partnership, because I think where Leia defaults to isn't optimal, and you can't have CJ taking like 80-90%.
Yeah, I feel like watching mixed doubles, obviously we see a lot of people ball hogging, for lack of a better term, but like Leia tends to play like further than just about anybody, like off the court almost. So
on the left she does, like it's on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you run into some trouble. It's where it's tough, because I think that's just like the default, especially when things get tighter, and it creates problems for them. And what Alex is talking about in terms of like whose ball, and then suddenly CJ's not going for a ball that he had taken the last 5 times.
So we talked too about I think Alex had said he predicted that it would be a much heavier split for Augie in this one today, and you can see that was the case today. Almost 200 touches compared to 100 for J-Dub. So teams really like putting that on his backhand,
especially now that Andre, like Chris was saying earlier, now that Andre is kind of handling the Augie's trickier stuff a little better. They just don't really, nothing bad's they don't see anything bad is gonna happen if you put it over there.
Really high level though in that men's doubles game. I mean, it was fun to watch. You can see not a whole lot of unforced errors, just ton of fun.
I think we should mention just how great Andre played today. He was unbelievable in all 3 facets. He was unreal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like you have your number one guy, and you're like, go out there and win. But put an Andre out there. I mean, we didn't really see that from him last year too. Like, and even sometimes at the point like this year, like I picked them number 1, I think, in my preseason. I just thought like this team's gonna be unstoppable. I was riding the Andre Diascu hype train. I feel like the hype train maybe slowed down a little bit, but like this today was like the primo, like good Andre Diascu stuff.
I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and he admitted that like him and CJ had underperformed, but he still seemed pretty confident about their like, hey, if we both play well, we're a really good team. So I think that they're starting to sort of get there as a partnership, which is kind of odd because they won that PPA back in December together. Mm-hmm. So you would have thought that they would have sort of been there from the start of the year. But like I said, he admitted that they kind of had underperformed, but I think Andre's just a gamer. Like like the team really needed him both days, and he came up big both days. And I know they didn't get the Dream Breaker win yesterday, but I can't say enough good things about that guy.
I mean, how about that mixed doubles? Like they almost pickled the Johnsons. Like that's pretty crazy. Like I'm gonna take a look here at some stats. I'll see what jumps out to me, but like that was pretty wild.
Yeah, I thought the Johnsons were just going to come out today and take it because you think they're the better team, but they Andre and Paris just came out firing.
Paris, very good win percentage here in her firefight initiations, as well as in the counters for them. Like that probably tells the story. I'm sure we'll see so if you look at the rallies where all 4 players were at the kitchen, Columbus won 10 of those 15. Teams were about equal in terms of getting to the kitchen. So that really seems to be those speed ups, those counters, seems to be what separated these 2 teams today.
Actually, a pretty low percentage on the kitchen arrivals. I know it's 1 match to 11.
Yeah,
pretty low percentage for those, especially for those quality of teams. And
these blowouts are always only like 32 rallies, so it's always like a really small sample size if it's a lopsided game. That was a fun way to end the night. That really was.
Yeah, I'm
going to pull up a stat here for
J-Dub
and Georgia. But you guys got to keep talking for another 15 seconds while I get it.
We could pull it. Game flow graphic is rough to see. Is that like mean I need to zoom in more, or is it just like it hurt you as like a Dallas Flash fan? Because if it hurt you as a Dallas Flash fan, I'm going to go pull it up again. So. Although the only banner Texas is hanging is the one I put in the thumbnail this year. So far, it's Dallas Flash were afraid of us. Hang the banner.
Okay, so I just pulled this up. They had won, so they lost their last. J-Dub and Georgia lost their last mixed doubles game of the regular season to Catherine and Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, they had won 20 straight. I mean, they only lost twice
That's
this
hard
year.
to do.
So
Like games.
yeah,
Like,
so they had won 20 straight, and they've lost their last 3 games. So it's like, I don't. And they had sort of shown cracks. Like I said, they had to have a huge comeback against Tina and Eric. And they had that huge comeback in St. Louis against Fahey and Tardio to win 13-11. So it's like they had shown a little bit of shakiness, but like we're still getting it done. And now it's like they're showing serious shakiness.
mm-hmm.
This isn't stat based or anything, but they were undefeated, I think, going into that is the Dallas event, right? And then they lost. And you kind of think that might take the weight of like an unbeaten season off of their shoulders, but it seems like things have actually trended down from that point. And who knows if that's actually a marking point of, anything. Oh no, we're not undefeated anymore. It seems kind of ridiculous to think that would do anything.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't put any weight into that.
Pardon?
I feel like they're coming off of silver too. Like they've still got it. It's just like, Andre just was like the dude today. And I mean, Paris played incredibly too. Paris almost hit the shot of the year in that Dream Breaker where she was like falling down. Like that would have been absolutely crazy.
I mean, just think about where we were. The end of the midseason tournament was July 13th. So just a little over a month ago, where we were sitting with Dallas, where they're undefeated. They just won the midseason tournament. It's like they're the cleared top team, and they've lost 4 times since then.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like they just haven't really finished strong. They haven't finished strong. We can. I mean, I can pull up the poly market odds if you guys want to see it. Like, the market is not a believer in Dallas right now. Whoever is betting over in Europe and Asia, because we can't do it here. Not that we would if we could, of course.
It's Duke. Duke's doing all the betting.
Yeah, you think so? That'd be funny. All that SciPick money, all that. Yeah, that's the paddle I think they're using now.
Yeah, on the point that Matt's making here, like I still think, yeah, they could get it together and they could be the Georgia and J-Dub that we know, but yeah, just kind of strange the turn that their season has taken the last few weeks.
Well, and like they were the 3 seed last year, so like they weren't the juggernaut, and then they just boom had it. Like they had it in the playoffs, and this year they were the juggernaut, and then they kind of have maybe lost a little bit. We'll see. Like if they end up winning it all, they're going to come in. Their social admin is going to come in here and clip me like anything I ever
for
say.
sure.
Yeah, I met him by the way.
So
it's kind of fun to meet the person who I've been like talking shit to for like the last year.
I've been posting stuff on our Twitter account all week, kind of questioning that. I fully expect that if they win tomorrow, that they'll come at us and say, "See, we knew it all along, no problem." So fully expect that.
Then, unless anybody has anything else about this kind of subject, I was going to jump into the Texas match from earlier, since we just made. I think it was Gabrielle in the comments. I just brought her to tears by talking about Dallas losing. Let's talk about Texas losing. So it's her turn to kind of get back at me here. I mean, we talked about like the big comeback that St. Louis had against Orlando and Mix won yesterday, and like, God, it was just brutal watching. Like every time you have 5 game points for the Texas Rangers women, and by the way, they had game points against New Jersey in the midseason tournament bronze medal match. So they've had this team on the ropes twice, and they just can't close. They're probably like 0 for 10 on game points against this team. It's just so frustrating.
You have to feel like. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
No, the only thing that I was going to say there is at the end of that game, Caitlin Christian kind of just lost her mind. I felt like where
you
she
see a little dip in the rally impact flow towards the end, where she had like a really good stretch in that like 6-6 to get the lead, and then just it does tail off.
Just like a few third shot drives at the end were just like nowhere close. And I saw it, maybe it's Coop or somebody else on Twitter saying like those situations, like you just need to drop one and get to the line and see what happens. Like they weren't even getting to anywhere close to being in those points there at the end of that game.
Yeah,
And I don't want to be too critical of her because, like I said, she played well.
dude, she's been like
in the match
legit
against
awesome.
Miami, and has been playing very good.
I mean,
so.
like we talked about the weirdness around like Texas with Coach Ryan and all that, but like in the first round of the playoffs, all things equal, if you subbed in Etta for Caitlin Christian and Etta goes 2-0 in her matches, well, Caitlin went 2-0 in her matches, and you go to a dream breaker. So like that trade, they were in a better spot to make it to this stage. Like all things else equal, of like how the rest of the season might have gone or whatever. But like I think Caitlin like has been surprisingly good in doubles, especially in mixed doubles, especially with Wyatt Stone going 5-0. So like I'm kind of liking what I've been seeing from Caitlin Christian. I feel like the potential is there, even if it just got a little tight there at the end. Like you talked about, just being in, like getting more reps in those big situations. I guess
when you're not supposed to win,
mm-hmm.
I think it gets worse for players in those situations.
Well, and that's like Caitlin hasn't played many high pressure doubles reps. I know she was in Premier last year, but Arizona didn't really have any big matches last year. And then, you're playing Annalie Waters and you're like, holy crap, I'm up 10-6 in the first round of the playoffs. Like, geez. And I think it just kind of goes on you. And the drive is what she lives by, right? So she's not drop first. So that, whereas if it was Andrew, I don't know who said it, but you're coming from old school drop first pickleball, right? So what's comfortable for you is tough, but then you're spraying drives. It's not a good feeling. I can't imagine.
And then we had a similar kind of like big lead for Texas here. Looks like it was 6-2, and then just nine straight for and look, if you look at the player impact, it was Noe Cliff here turning it on, and Eric struggling. And the stat that jumped out to me, I think in this one, maybe it was a different match, but yeah, again, just I don't think we're seeing Eric Onson's at his cleanest pickleball lately. But yeah, we kind of already talked about that a lot.
They should be able to beat Will and Noe. I think I'd favor them in a best 2 of 3, but if we're sitting in a PPA, but maybe not the way Onson's is playing right now.
The stat here I'm zooming in on too is you get credited for creating an opportunity if you hit a shot that immediately precedes. Sorry, you yield an opportunity, like you've given up an opportunity. If I like hit a pop up and then somebody crushes a winner like at us, so that would be yielding opportunity. The shot before that would be like creating the opportunity. Like I hit the speed up that caused the pop up that got the winner. So this is kind of like the shots before, and you can see here, just not great for Texas. Hope I explained that right. I don't know if that added any value, but it's kind of just another random stat here. Yeah, Willie Towles and Christian Taushan. That sign was there. Was that you, Ernie King? Were you there with that sign?
I'm popping in with a correction here. It was Maggie, who I believe is Coop's sister, right?
Yes.
Their profile pics look similar to me on Twitter, so I sometimes get them confused. But yeah, Maggie's saying just get a third in play to give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I think that the comment. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Maddie.
No, I was going to say that was just such a bummer of a game to like just force it, make them at least play. You don't want to get anytime you lose 3-0 when you had game points. It just like drives me nuts. Yeah, but yeah.
I just see a couple people in the comments here just talking about ALW and just how hard it is to win against them. And we don't have these stats because unfortunately, Benny doesn't do the stats for PPA. But I'd be very curious how many times Ben and Annalie both separately and together get down, like the other team gets to a 10, and they can't finish. I wonder what the percentage is on games won and lost. It's got to be super high in favor of Annalie and Ben for those types of situations.
They have some of that on pickleball.com. You can see like record after losing the first game and all that, but yeah, I don't know.
It's just compounding at this point, I think, with both of those two, where it's like, oh yeah, I've been down 10-3 100 times. I got this, no problem. Or they're just not worried about it. It doesn't seem like. And so I think that's just like every tournament, they're just getting more of that and just getting better and better at being able to not worry about it. and just play their game. Whereas these other players, might get in. Caitlin Christian, is in one of these situations once every couple months, in a super impactful game, high pressure situation. So, and Annalise are there every week.
So we're probably going to go for about 10 more minutes. I know I saw Jake Gelvar, Brooklyn super fan, in here, so we got to give him a little trigger warning before we dive into that one. But what was the takeaways there? I mean, it just looks like Deckel's a little rusty. The chemistry with Riley just didn't look good at all. In that series matchup, Brooklyn they have to win women's, or they're toast, right? I mean, that's how it feels to me, because if you lose women's, you're not going to win men. At least the way they played today. And then best case scenario, you can win 2 mixed and then get to a dream breaker where you're just going to get crushed. You have to win the women's game.
Yeah, I think
go ahead, Chris.
I think you're right, Matt. You have to win women's, and they didn't win women's. And then it just all happened so fast. I think there were 4 drives at the start. They were down 4-0 before they even got the ball back. And then, Deckel hasn't played a game, and you're playing against Ben and Hunter in the most important match of the season suddenly. That's a terrible spot to be for
It was
Deckel.
only 19 rallies in the men's doubles game.
It felt like it was done before you could even
think about that, because when we used to play rally scoring, only 19 rallies. Even if it was it's just funny to think about. I don't know. Yeah, Matt
They have been strong in mixed pretty much all season, and they were especially strong in mixed when Deckel was playing earlier in the year. I think
even with AJ,
I think him and Rohrbacher were 9-2, 9-3, something like that. But so they have sort of in the past been able to win matches by winning both mixed. But in this series, in one of the mixed matches, you're playing Ben and Catherine, so that's just not going to work. In this particular series. And on the Deckel point, it was almost just hard to tell even or get a sense of, okay, is he playing well? Is he rusty? The match was over. It was over before you even got a chance to make that evaluation. It's and in both of them, I don't think you would really blame him for either of those huge losses. I think Riley, like you're saying, was struggling with Ben's drive at first and just seemed off. So yeah, hard to even evaluate.
He didn't even have 100 touches between the 2 games. It was, I think, combined, I'm looking at the stats here, combined 40 rallies in those 2 games. So it was quick.
I'm feeling pretty good about my LA pick.
I picked Brooklyn for the upset in the pick'em just because I'm in almost last place. I had to do something. I saw Hayshay picked Orlando, so she had the same kind of mindset. So yeah, it's I don't know. I just felt like Brooklyn, people have been sleeping on them. I was like, why not? I got to do something, and it's not going to pan out unless we see a complete turnaround.
I think their men can give them a little bit more trouble at least. I mean, that was an aberration of a game, I think, but I don't expect them to win. We picked LA to win in 2, but I think it can be a better match than that at least today, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think that there's something to be said for Riley all of those years was playing cross court from Ben and having at least somewhat success, and then now he's playing the right with Deckel and is in front of Ben and just gets lit up?
It's this is Ben's chance to get revenge for all
those
in 2022.
Which I don't know. I just thought that was interesting, watching that. Wow, Riley. There was a time when Riley was sort of, and I know Riley's not 2022 Riley anymore, but it was just kind of jarring to see just how badly Ben was sort of eating him up straight ahead.
I think the problem is Riley. He can't be on the right, really. That's the tough thing with Declan Riley, is that Riley in 2025 isn't an amazing left side player, but he just on the right, he's got that weird slice dink that kind of just is dead no matter how hard it looks like he slices it. And then he's also not used to playing over there. He doesn't play a ton over there. So the patterns are a little bit different. And then you got the best player in the world coming at you. I think that the not being used to those patterns and having ever seen Ben from that angle makes things tough for him.
For sure. So we got about 5 minutes left. Is there? We talked about St. Louis, Orlando a little bit. That's kind of fun today. They at least put up with, I thought, a good fight, made it interesting. But we know St. Louis is going through. Tomorrow we've got game 2 and game 3 for Texas and New Jersey if necessary. We've got game 2 and 3 for Brooklyn, LA if necessary. And we know for a fact we've got game 3 for Dallas and Columbus. Oh, and look at this. You guys want to go 3 ways on this? We want to split this? We each get like $3. We got a little super thanks here.
It's all yours, Maddie.
Yeah. I'll buy you if I see you guys at a MLP event next year in Austin. I'll buy you like a Coke or something. I don't know. But I guess we should respond to this comment. So after, I don't know what this is. After seeing all the teams, maybe who are top 4, your predictions for semifinals and finals. Yeah, it's typo seeing. I mean, the top 4 are, I think, everybody's top 4, right? And any of you disagree that there are 4 top teams, I think you can just argue the order of those teams. I'm taking probably St. Louis as the favorite. Then I'm not going to go Dallas at number 2. I just feel like after what we've seen, even though they made it harder on themselves than it had to be, I think you have to go LA as like the second favorite, just because we're still a little unsure with New Jersey with like how it comes together. And then, I mean, I'm probably putting Dallas still at 3 and New Jersey at 4, but I don't know. I could go either way on the 3 and 4. That's how I would rank those teams. Well, did you guys agree or disagree?
So I think, are we assuming Dallas is getting through?
Yeah,
are we confident about that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If Dallas gets through, who do you think St. Louis picks? So if it's St. Louis, Dallas, New Jersey, and LA, who does St. Ous pick? I guess that's the first question we have to figure out.
That's a good. We should have spent more time talking about this because this is interesting stuff. That's a tough pick.
They can't. I'm pretty sure you can't. You can only pick the.
Oh, you can't pick 2.
Yeah,
you can't pick Dallas.
If Dallas gets ahead, they can't pick them. So it's between. I think it's then a pretty easy pick.
Then you're right. They're not going to pick LA. So it's going to be St. Louis, New Jersey, and Dallas if they get through versus LA most likely.
And then if Columbus gets through, St. Louis would probably take Columbus and New Jersey because they couldn't pick New Jersey. New Jersey would be the highest seed remaining. So it'd either be Columbus or LA. So yeah.
But I think Dallas and St. Louis will get through to the final. Or I'm sorry, St. Louis and LA will get through the final.
I think I picked New Jersey because I knew no one else was going to pick New Jersey to win it all. And once again, I'm in like second to last place. So I had to do something.
And I'm taking LA to win it.
I'm taking my actual pick is St. Louis to win it, which is really, really daring, really brave. I know.
Yeah, we're St. Louis over here as well. But I think LA is just as it's got to be pretty much a coin flip, right?
Yeah, I think so. So this is going to put us just about at an hour. Alex, real quick, do you want to just give us like a little challenger rundown? How's it been going for your Nashville chefs? And then, like how excited are you to be playing in New York for promotion?
Yeah, that'll be high stakes pickleball next week for both those teams. So pretty much went the way I think people would have thought. Went pretty much the way the regular season has gone.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas obviously is very strong. They win 2-0 against Bay Area, and then Nashville wins 3-0, 3-1, and the 3-1 today was pretty close. The last game was 12-10, so that one could have easily gone to a dream breaker probably, but I know the team's very happy and was getting quite a few texts in the group chat from the crew. So
yeah, the California matchup was not a given because they were 5-0 and Salt Lake City. They were coming in hot, So I actually picked them once again because I had to be contrarian to try to do a comeback, but also riding the hot hand a little bit. So yeah.
And they had kind of gone back and forth throughout the season, Nashville and California. So I actually expected that one to go 3, but yeah, Nashville pulled it out. So.
Chris, any other takeaways from Challenger? Did you get to watch much of that today, or were you locked in on Premier?
Didn't get to watch that much, but I will say I think that we had picked California in 3, but probably underrated again. Nashville has the best woman in that matchup. Like
Mhm.
I think Radzikowska is just it's kind of a game changer. Just she's so consistent. She's not super spectacular or
I mean,
anything.
she willed a really bad Frisco Pandas team last year to like being like in the playoffs in the first place. Like, so yeah, that she's like is she the challenger goat? Like, is that the title people give her? Yeah.
I think you'd have to say that. Yeah, and she just raises her level, I feel like, in the biggest matches. Like, she's one of those players that sort of wants the ball, and has proven kind of over and over again that pressure doesn't really get to her. Just plays really solid. So really happy for the crew.
I think that's probably going to do it for this. We're coming in right at an hour. Thanks, guys, for joining last second. I would have just been rambling. I don't think this would have been any fun for anybody if somebody did join. So I want to do more of this kind of stuff. I think it's fun. Just keep it casual. Just get like different people in to just kind of talk for an hour about pickleball and get some people in the chat and maybe make a few bucks from super things like from guys like the Pickleball Jones. So once again, thank you to him. Certainly appreciate that. He's also a channel member, which by the way, I already plugged earlier. So consider liking, subscribing, and then also go check out Alex Lance, all his content over at The Kitchen. Also, these guys are very active on Pickleball Twitter, which is actually apparently now known as X. I learned the other day. So if you're not on there, no, I'm joking.
Okay.
If you're not on there, get on there. Come hang out with us. They're all in my pick'em thing too. So it's been fun getting to know different, pickleball wannabe pundits. You guys are actual pundits. I'm the wannabe pundit, but
no, always wannabe pundits. Always.
Still kind of want to be.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna hit the end stream button now before I ramble anymore.
Okay. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Maddie.
Cool, guys. All right, I think